Ladies and gentlemen, the Alabama Senate will now come to order. Our prayer today will be delivered by Senator Andrew Jones. Senator Jones.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you've created, Lord. Thank you for the great state of Alabama and the United States of America that we're blessed to live in, Lord. We pray a special blessing on this state and our people, Lord. Pray that you'll be with Alabama Senate today as we deliberate, Lord. Pray that you'll bless everything that goes on here and you'll bless all the families that are represented here. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thanks, Senator Jones. Today, the pledge will be led by Senate intern Riley Crawford. Riley is a student at the University of North Alabama.
Attention, salute, pledge.
Thank you, Riley. Secretary, call the roll.
Mr. Albritton, Mr. Allen, Mr. Barfoot, Mr. Beasley, Mr. Bell, Mr. Butler, Mr. Conley, Mr. Chambliss, Mr. Chasteen, Ms. Coleman, Ms. Coleman-Madison, Mr. Elliott, Ms. Figures, Mr. Gavan, Mr. Gudger, Mr. Hatcher, Mr. Hovey, Mr. Jones, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kitchens, Mr. Livingston, Mr. Milson, Mr. Orr, Mr. Price, Mr. Reed, Mr. Roberts, Mr. Sessions, Mr. Shellnut, Mr. Singleton, Mr. Smitherman, Mr. Stewart, Mr. Stutz, Mr. Wagner, Ms. Weaver, Mr. Williams,
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 32 senators present, which is a quorum. The Senate is ready to transact business.
Mr. President.
Senator Wagner.
Move that we excuse absent senators.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Mr. President.
Senator Wagner.
Move that we dispense with the reading of the journal from the previous legislative day and that we adopt said journal.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered. All right, now move on to introduction of bills. Senator Smitherman.
Mr. President.
Yes, Senator Smitherman.
Could I be recognized for a moment of personal privilege?
Yes, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, once again, we come today, our second day in February, giving recognition to moments of Black history. And today, the person that we are going to highlight is a lady by the name of Carla Ziegler. She was born in 1955 in Birmingham, Alabama. She was the first female trooper for the Alabama Highway Patrol. Ziegler was raised in Birmingham by her mother, Myrtle. She graduated from Hayes High School, and by the way, Hayes is now a middle school and it's in Senate District 18, where she was mentored by librarian Alfred Robertson. She studied criminal justice at UAB and with an eye toward a political career, and was elected vice president of the UAB Student Government Association. When she decided to become a state trooper, Ziegler wrote to Patrol Commander Jerry Shoemaker. He initially dismissed her application, but eventually relented after she continued bugging him. Another female candidate was admitted with the same 18-week training academy, but dropped out the first day. Ziegler showed unusual determination and was assigned to active duty at the Selma Post in Dallas County in July 1979. This is another moment in Black history. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, members.
All right, so we're on introduction of bills. Does somebody want to make a motion for bills through?
Mr. President, moment of personal privilege for me.
All right, you're recognized.
Since I didn't hear everything that Senator Smitherman had mentioned in his comments, and I know Senator Smitherman gave us a moment in history yesterday, and I think it's important that that we continue to have those conversations. I am a student of history, would not be accurate, but I do enjoy hearing historical moments, especially from those folks from Alabama. So I just want to let the body know that, and Senator Smitherman know, that I appreciate the historical context and the folks that we get an opportunity to learn about here. My mother was a history teacher, and I think that's extremely important. And I just want to tell the body that make sure that we listen to Senator Smitherman and make sure that we have a good idea of what he's saying. And just want to say thank you for those historical tidbits of information that we may not always get by looking at history books. We may not always get by turning on our radio or TV. And I think it's important that we hear those kinds of things. So I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you.
All right, Senator Jones.
Mr. President, move that we allow for the introduction of bills and committee reports throughout the day.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. All right, now move on to motions and resolutions.
Mr. President,
Senator Albritton,
may I have a point of personal privilege?
you recognized?
First off, how much time do I have for personal privilege? Did I break the line?
5 minutes.
I'd like to speak for 5 minutes about my good friend Tim Ellison, if I might, because I just broke in line of him. And no, I'm kidding. I apologize. If I might, today, what we will have tomorrow, we had a news conference down recently, just a few minutes ago, on our gaming bill, and I can talk for a long time about that. But I just want to make a couple of comments on that. I know this is a controversial bill. I know that there's a lot of people that have questions about it. But I tell you, this is an opportunity for the people of Alabama to have a say in it. That's number one. Number two, this is going to be an opportunity for us. If we don't like, somebody told me a little bit ago, they don't like casinos. Well, now's the chance to take control of them. We have them all over the place. We have a recent one, $35 million was invested in a brand new facility without any regulation, control, or anything. It went up and is operational. We can stop that by passing this bill. Unless we pass it, they will continue to grow. If we don't pass this bill, you will have casino gaming right here. It's right here in this room right now. If you want to do it, it's here. It's on this device, each and every one of you. I'm just saying, if you pass this bill, you will control and stop this. If you want to be able to control the back street gaming that's going on in every town in Hamlet, in the back of, how was it phrased in the news conference, in laundromats, in barbershops, and gas stations, if you want to control those, let's pass this bill. Those are the things that we want to do. We want to stop the growth, cap it. We want to control it and regulate it. Put a whole separate arm of government, by that I mean law enforcement, to be able to go out full time to search them out, to capture these places and to shut them down. Not part-time like our DAs and our AG, not part-time like our state troopers, but full-time. That's what it takes. Every time we shut one down, they are back. We leave, we take everything, and within a month, they're back up operating. We have got to take control of this. We have a system here with 18 different CAs that confuses people. It has means so that it is impossible to completely enforce. It doesn't make it feasible or chargeable when you're talking about misdemeanors. It doesn't matter. This bill raises levels to felonies. It provides the funding for it. It provides the means to move forward with it. It also is a means that we can collect from it. We have the means. Look, how many of us in this room would like to raise taxes? How many of us? No. And you don't want to raise taxes? No. But costs are going up. Our demands are increasing. This is one opportunity where we'll have a voluntary revenue coming into us from people that choose this particular activity. And we're talking substantial sums. I would suggest that we take a look, find the bill and read them. Read the CA, 9 pages. Read the enabling, 140 pages. Read those bills. Acquaint yourself with how it will be set up, how it will function and operate. And then come in and let's talk about what's needed for you to consider to vote on this. Because all you're doing is giving people the opportunity to say yes or no. All we're doing is devising a plan for the people to approve or not approve. We're not going to change anything until we take action here to move forward with this industry that is a plague to our state. We're surrounded by it. It is infecting us, and this is an opportunity for us to take charge and to move forward with it. With that, I'll yield my time to, the rest of my time to Senator Melson.
Hello, Mr. President. I just have a resolution, but so if,
All right, so I don't think we can yield time on a point of personal privilege, can we? Yeah, all right, so, yeah, so hold on a minute, but we're on motions and resolutions right now, so, all right, who has a motion and resolution? Huh? Okay. Well, do you want to be, you're at the mic, yeah,
Okay.
so,
Mr. President, may I be recognized?
you're recognized.
I just wanted to speak about an SJR that the entire Senate signed on
Yeah.
as co-sponsors yesterday, and I want to thank you all for agreeing to that. We have Gunnar Henderson, a Selma, Alabama native. He was named the Major League Baseball Rookie of the Year, and he plays for Baltimore. He and his family will be in the State House tomorrow. Let us give him a warm Alabama welcome because he's in his off week before he goes back to Baltimore. His family will be here as well as his fiance. And so let's welcome him to the state of Alabama. Let's commend him, give him some warm Alabama hospitality. He won the Jackie Robinson Rookie of the Year award, and we all know what Jackie Robinson did in the Trailblazer, that he was, and the barriers that he broke for the profession. And so since what was that? Gunnar Henderson, he will be here tomorrow. So get excited. Major League Baseball Rookie of the Year, Selma, Alabama, native.
Hey,
young guy. Thank you.
Senator Stewart, hey, I want to thank you for your leadership on that and bringing him as a baseball fan. Excited to meet him, so thank you.
Yes, he's going to be great. You'll
Yeah.
love him.
All right, thank you. All right, Senator all right, you got a resolution?
Yes.
All right, Secretary Reed, receive the resolution, please.
Senate Joint Resolution Number 6 by Senator Melson, commending Special Olympics gold medalist Price Wilton Holcomb for outstanding athletic achievements.
Mr. President, I'd like to ask for immediate consideration, but
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Mr. Holcomb, he's a young man from our district. He competed in Berlin at the International World Special Olympics and won the gold medal in golf. It's quite an accomplishment, and a great young man, great family. And anyway, I'd like to also ask for adding all the members to the resolution.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered. Huh? Okay. All right. Okay. All right, Secretary, we got a request for it to be read at length.
Senate Joint Resolution commending Special Olympics gold medalist Price Wilton Holcomb for outstanding athletic achievements. Whereas with great pride and special pleasure, highest commendations are conveyed to Special Olympian Price Wilson Holcomb of Florence, Alabama for outstanding athletic achievements, including winning a gold medal at the 2023 Special Olympics World Games in Berlin, Germany. And whereas Price Holcomb was born on April 19, 1997, despite being born with Down syndrome and doctors predicting that he would never excel in athletics, Price persevered and has been playing golf since he was 8 years old, having learned from his parents who both played at the collegiate level. He has been involved with the Special Olympics for 17 years. And whereas Price has played Special Olympics sports at the local level in basketball, bowling, track and field, and golf, the sport he is most passionate about. He thrice won the state Special Olympic golf tournament in Troy, playing in the unified 18-hole division with his father and teammate Les Holcomb. The duo won the North American Special Olympics Golf Championship in Nashville, Tennessee in 2019, and again in Seaview, New Jersey in 2023. At the 2022 Special Olympics USA Games in Orlando, Florida, Price took home a silver medal in the unified 18-hole division. In 2023, Team Holcomb competed and won the Jock Longshore Special Olympics Invitational at Lagoon Park in Montgomery, Alabama. Whereas on June 17, 2023, Price and Les Holcomb entered Berlin's Olympic Stadium for the opening ceremony, following in the footsteps of fellow Olympian Jesse Owens, who won 4 medals in the 1936 Games. Price, with teammate Les, the only Alabamians to compete in the 2023 Special Olympic World Games, left Berlin a champion with a gold medal for the unified 18-hole division. Upon returning home, Mayor Andrew Betterson presented Price with a key to the city of Florence. Whereas Price Holcomb attended the University of North Alabama as part of the first Lion Buddies program class, a collaborative special education program for students with intellectual disabilities. After graduation, Price became employed at Foodland Grocery Store. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of Alabama, both houses thereof concurring, that Price Wilton Holcomb is commended and congratulated for his outstanding contribution to Special Olympics and his many athletic achievements, including winning a gold medal at the 2023 Special Olympics World Games, and for his excellent representation of the state of Alabama. This resolution is offered to him as evidence of our high regard, with best wishes for success in all of his future endeavors.
Thank you.
All right, now we need a motion.
Motion to adopt.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Senator Orr.
Mr. President, thank you. I have a resolution.
All right, Secretary Reed, receive the resolution, please.
Senate Joint Resolution number 7 by Senator Orr, congratulating George Clark on being named Director Emeritus and President of Workforce Development at Manufacture, Alabama.
Mr. President, I'd like to speak to the resolution.
You're recognized.
So members, I have today, we have a resolution I'm going to move shortly to add you all as co-sponsors, but an individual that we all know, George Clark, who led Manufacture, Alabama for many, many, many years, recently retired, and what I'd like to do is have the resolution read out loud. George is here in the gallery. If the president would like to recognize Mr. Clark up in the gallery and standing, let's give George a round of applause.
All right.
Well, he was. There he is on the front row. Okay, well, George, you didn't stand, but we're... Well, we appreciate his service to the business community in the state, and at this time, with the president's permission, would request that the resolution be read at length.
All right, Secretary, read the resolution.
Senate Joint Resolution congratulating George Clark on being named Director Emeritus and President of Workforce Development at Manufacture Alabama. Whereas in November 2023, George N. Clark was appointed as Director Emeritus and President of Workforce Development at Manufacture Alabama, the only trade association in the state dedicated exclusively to advocating for and supporting the needs of Alabama's manufacturers. And whereas Mr. Clark is a graduate of Marion Military Institute, he earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Commerce and Business from the University of Alabama and a Juris Doctorate from the University of Alabama School of Law. And whereas following graduation, Mr. Clark embarked on a lifetime of service and dedication to the state of Alabama. In addition to his many professional achievements, he served 2 terms in the Alabama House of Representatives. And whereas he was named President of the Alabama Industry and Manufacturers Association trade organization, now known as Manufacture Alabama, after he helped start the organization in 1996. And whereas in 2013, George Clark was appointed by Governor Robert Bentley to the Governor's College and Career Ready Task Force, which studied methods to help Alabamians in the labor force. And whereas he also served as the chairman of the Alabama Workforce Investment Board, the AWIB oversees Alabama's Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act programs and aims to provide advice and policy guidance to the governor on building a strong workforce development system that aligns the economic development and skills training goals in the state. And whereas George Clark is also the former vice chairman of the Alabama Workforce Council, which was born out of the College and Career Ready Task Force and works to foster collaboration between government, industry, and education to ensure that all Alabamians have the capacity to pursue their educational goals and realize long-term career opportunities. And whereas along with his roles on the WIOA board and the AWC, Mr. Clark serves on the Alabama Apprenticeship Council and Governor Kay Ivey's STEM Council. He has tirelessly spent decades advocating for enhanced workforce development policies and strategies to ensure employers have a pipeline of trained and career-ready employees. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of Alabama, both houses thereof concurring, that George Clark is highly commended and congratulated on his position as Director Emeritus and President of Workforce Development at Manufacture Alabama. And this resolution is offered to him as evidence of our high regard for his decades of long dedication to the state of Alabama, and with best wishes for continued health and prosperity in all future endeavors.
Mr. President.
All right, Senator Orr.
I'd like to move all senators be added as co-sponsors.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
I believe the pro tem may have a remark or two, and then we'll
All right,
move
Senator
to
Reed.
consideration.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would also like to congratulate George in his years of distinguished service to the people of the state of Alabama and Manufacture Alabama, which was born out of his ideals. But one thing that I wanted to point out to the members of the Senate today that I learned in the last couple of days about George Clark is that there's a topic that we talk about often that's called the Alabama Trust Fund. And if I'm not mistaken, George Clark offered the legislation as a member of the Alabama House of Representatives to establish the Alabama Trust Fund, which is now $3.5 billion savings account for the good people of the state of Alabama. George, your wisdom back then is a benefit to us now. So thank you for your service. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Orr. Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to move for unanimous consent for immediate consideration of the resolution.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution's adopted.
Thank you,
And
Mr. President.
George, I want to say on behalf of the people of Alabama, thank you for everything you've done for our state. All right. You have another resolution, Senator Orr? Okay. All right. Senator Allen. You have a resolution honoring Coach Tuberville?
I've got two. I've got a SJR.
All right, Secretary Reed received the resolution.
Senate Joint Resolution number 8 by Senators Allen and Gavan commending Nicholas Dunlap on winning the 2024 American Express on the PGA Tour.
Mr. President.
Senator Allen.
This SJR is not as long as the next one, but I would like for it to be read at length.
Okay. Secretary, read the SJR.
Senate Joint Resolution commending Nicholas Dunlap on winning the 2024 American Express on the PGA Tour. Whereas highest commendations and congratulations are herein proudly conveyed to Alabama's own Nicholas Dunlap for winning the 2024 American Express PGA Golf Tournament. He is the first amateur in 33 years to win on the PGA Tour. Whereas Nicholas Dunlap was born on December 23, 2003 in Huntsville to Charlene and Jim Dunlap. He displayed an unusual talent in golf from a young age, and he learned and perfected his game at his home club, Greystone Golf and Country Club in Birmingham. He was known to be a hard and diligent student who worked tirelessly to perfect his natural ability. And whereas Nick Dunlap won the 2021 U.S. Junior Amateur and subsequently committed to play at the University of Alabama, now a sophomore, he won the Linger Longer Invitational as a freshman, which was his first college individual victory, tied for 4th at regionals and shared 11th at the NCAA championship, won the Northeast Amateur Invitational, the North and South Amateur at Pinehurst No. 2, where he went 5-0 in match play, and unsurprisingly rolled through the competition to win the 2023 U.S. Amateur Championship. Nick Dunlap received a sponsor exemption to play in the American Express on the PGA Tour. In the third round, he shot a 12 under 60, tying Patrick Cantley's record for the lowest round by an amateur on the PGA Tour. He shot 2 under in the final round to win the tournament by 1 stroke and became the first amateur to win a PGA Tour event since Phil Mickelson won the Tucson Open in 1991 at 20 years and 29 days old. He also became the second youngest winner on the PGA Tour in the past 90 years, and he is the first amateur player to have won the U.S. Junior Amateur, the U.S. Amateur, and a PGA Tour event. And whereas the win moved Nick Dunlap from 3rd to 1st in the World Amateur Golf Rankings, which takes into account the performance of amateurs in both amateur and professional tournaments, a week after his victory at the American Express, he announced that he was turning professional and had accepted a PGA Tour membership. And whereas the occasion of Nicholas Dunlap winning the first PGA Tour event is an accomplishment to be celebrated, his single-minded dedication, strong desire for success, constant training, and tireless and diligent efforts to achieve excellence serve as a valuable example to young athletes across the country and in his home state of Alabama. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of Alabama, both houses thereof concurring, that we highly commend and congratulate Nicholas Dunlap for his outstanding victory at the American Express on the PGA Tour, and we hereby dedicate this resolution to him with the utmost admiration, along with sincere best wishes for continued success.
Mr. President,
Senator Allen.
I would say that this young man earned his first paycheck this past weekend, and he's doing quite well. And at this time, I would like to add all the senators to be co-sponsors to this piece.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
I move immediate adoption.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution's adopted.
Mr. President, you got an SJR?
All right, Secretary Reed received the SJR.
Senate Joint Resolution number 9 by Senator Allen and others commending Coach Nick Saban for his professional achievements and exemplary leadership on the occasion of his retirement.
Mr. President.
Senator Allen.
Knowing Coach as well as I do, and knowing his personality, his demeanor, he would not want us to read this 6 pages, it's an unbelievable career that this man has had, and it's no question that a legend, and the Alabama family will always remember. And not only that, but him and Miss Terry has done so many things by giving not only their monetary, but themselves to help other people. And at this time, I would like to add that all members of the state Senate be included on this SJR.
All right, any objection? Hearing none, so ordered.
Okay, good. Move adoption.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
Okay.
Resolution's adopted.
Mr. President, I've got this SJR up here for everyone to have a copy, and I'd love for each member to have a copy of the SJR, please, sir.
All right, well, thank you, Senator Allen. I know you're a close friend, Coach Saban. We'll appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Any other motions or resolutions?
Mr. President, I'd like to offer SJR, please.
All right, Secretary Reed received the SJR.
Senate Joint Resolution number 10 by Senators Singleton and Smitherman, mourning the death and celebrating the life of Judge John Lawrence Carroll.
Mr. President,
Senator Singleton.
Judge Carroll was a federal judge here in the Middle District of Alabama who just passed. I would like to have that read before we ask for immediate consideration.
All right, Secretary, read the resolution, please.
Senate Joint Resolution mourning the death and celebrating the life of Judge John Lawrence Carroll. Whereas it is with profound sorrow that we note the death on August 14, 2023 of United States Marine Corps veteran Judge John Lawrence Carroll of Birmingham, Alabama at the age of 79. His passing leaves a void in the lives of his loving family, many friends, and the community where he was highly regarded. And whereas Judge Carroll grew up in Washington, D.C. and attended Gonzaga High School, in 1965 he graduated from Tufts University and entered the United States Marine Corps. He served as a Marine flight officer during the Vietnam War and flew 230 combat missions in an A-6A Intruder as a bombardier navigator with Marine All-Weather Attack Squadron 242. His call sign was Zard. Upon returning from Vietnam, he was stationed at Cherry Point in North Carolina, where he met and married his beloved wife, Susan. Whereas he then matriculated to Samford University's Cumberland School of Law and graduated magna cum laude 1974. In 1975, he received his Master's of Law, LLM, from Harvard University. Whereas Judge Carroll next moved to Montgomery, Alabama, where he served as the legal director of the Southern Poverty Law Center until 1984. During that time, he handled civil rights cases, class actions, and various criminal matters. He represented clients on death row, and he twice argued before the Supreme Court of the United States. Whereas then he moved to Macon, Georgia, to teach law as a professor at Mercer University. In 1986, he returned to Montgomery to accept an appointment as a United States Magistrate Judge for the Middle District of Alabama. He served in that capacity for 14 years. And whereas in 2001, Judge Carroll relocated to Birmingham, Alabama to become dean of his alma mater, Cumberland School of Law. Under his tenure, the law school returned to an earlier focus on trial advocacy and improved their national ranking. Judge Carroll was beloved by the Samford family as a colleague, friend, and mentor. Upon leaving his position as dean after 13 years, he returned to the classroom until his retirement in 2022. And whereas over the course of his career, Judge Carroll received many honors. Some of the dearest to him included selection as a Community Hero Olympic Torchbearer in 1996, appointment by Chief Justice William Rehnquist of the Supreme Court of the United States to serve on the Judicial Conference's Advisory Committee on the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, receipt of the 2011 Chief Justice of Alabama's Professionalism Award, receipt of an Award of Merit in 2014 from the Alabama State Bar Association for outstanding and constructive service to the legal profession, receipt of the 2017 Alabama Brewer Torbert Public Service Award, and receipt of the 2018 American Inns of Court Professionalism Award for the 11th Circuit. Whereas Judge Carroll was a member of and chaired the Alabama Law Institute statute drafting committees, providing invaluable insight on various legislative projects. Whereas Judge Carroll was a lifelong Catholic and he loved teaching and mentoring. He was also an athlete and an avid sports fan. He competed in triathlons well into his 70s, and he always seemed younger than his years. He loved reading, being outdoors, watching the Atlanta Braves, listening to the Rolling Stones, eating spicy food, and drinking red wine. Whereas Judge John Lawrence Carroll is survived by his wife of 53 years, Susan Gaskins Carroll, daughter Catherine Carroll Sanders, grandsons States Carroll Sanders and Forrest Waddell Sanders, and a host of other much-loved family and friends. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the legislature of Alabama, both houses thereof concurring, that although his presence will be greatly missed, the memory of Judge John Lawrence Carroll will be cherished in the hearts of all who knew and loved him. His death is recorded with deep sadness, and this resolution is offered in tribute to his life and service to others, along with heartfelt sympathy to his family, whose grief is shared by many.
Mr. President, I think the gentleman want to have some words to say about Judge John Carroll.
All right, Senator Gavan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to reminisce a little bit about my experience with him. I did go to the other law school, which is the law school that I hope loses the basketball game tonight. But I did have an opportunity to mediate a case with him. While I've mediated many cases over the years, they've all been before we got to court. This was actually on an appeal, and I think it's a testament because there was $4 million at stake, and there was a testament that, first of all, that he was selected as a mediator for that because both sides trusted him to be fair and balanced in how he handled that, and we were successfully, and we did a little better than I think split the baby. But anyway, I just enjoyed visiting with him, and he certainly was made his mark. You know, a lot of people try to make mark in life. He certainly made his mark in the legal community and beyond. So he is to be commended, and I appreciate you bringing this resolution.
Yes, Mr. President, and I'd just like to share, in 1985, Dillard versus United States case where the state of Alabama redistricted over 250 cities in all 67 counties where there was one man, one vote. And a lot of these towns and cities to where they were doing at-large voting, Judge Carroll was appointed the judge to oversee the Dillard versus United States case. I was a plaintiff in that case for the city of Greensboro. City of Greensboro was one of the only cities out of 200 some odd cities that were up that didn't settle, and they went to the United States Supreme Court. So Judge Carroll was remanded back from the Supreme Court back to Judge Carroll, so he oversaw that case. It took us from 1984 to 1998 before we really had our first election. That case went on a long time, having appeals and also being set back for some years. But I remember Judge Carroll, as you say, was fair. He looked at the merits of the case, and because the city of Greensboro were one of the only ones that didn't want to go, we were able to prevail. And by that time we got there, we had elected a black mayor anyway. So when it was time to pay the attorney fees, because the losers had to pay the attorney fees, so we ended up having to pay our own attorney fees back over because we had won. And that was just one of my first times with Judge Carroll. It was over the years, having been in conferences with him in his back of his room. So he's going to be missed in the judicial field. So with that, Mr. President, I move for immediate consideration and move for adoption using previous role without objection.
All right, any objection? All right, hearing none, so ordered. All those in favor say aye.
And Mr. President, I would like to have all names added.
All right, before we do that, all right, make sure.
I apologize.
Any objection to all senators being added as co-sponsors? Hearing none, so ordered. Now the motion to pass. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Resolution's adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thanks, Senator Singleton. Any other motions or resolutions? All right. We got committee reports now. All right, now move on to committee reports. Secretary, call the first committee.
From State Governmental Affairs, Senate Bill Number 1 receives a favorable report with substitute by a vote of 7 ayes and 3 nays.
Mr. President, have the title read, please.
All right, Secretary, read the title.
Relating to voting to prohibit any person from ordering, requesting, collecting, pre-filling, obtaining, or delivering an absentee ballot application or absentee ballot of a voter in certain circumstances, to provide for exceptions, to prohibit a person from receiving a payment or providing a payment to another person for distributing, ordering, requesting, collecting, pre-filling, completing, obtaining, or delivering an absentee ballot application or absentee ballot of a voter in certain circumstances, and in connection therewith would have as its purpose or effect the requirement of a new or increased expenditure of local funds within the meaning of Section 111.05 of the Constitution of Alabama of 2022. From the Committee on State Governmental Affairs, Senate Bill number 39 receives a favorable report with one amendment by a vote of 11 ayes and 0 nays.
All right, these bills received a second reading and be placed on the calendar for next legislative day. Secretary called next committee.
From the Committee on County and Municipal Government, Senate Bill number 7 receives a favorable report by a vote of 10 ayes and 0 nays. From the Committee on County and Municipal Government, Senate Bill 10 receives a favorable report with one amendment by a vote of 7 ayes and 3 nays.
Go ahead.
From County and Municipal Government, Senate Bill number 12 receives a favorable report with one amendment by a vote of 6 ayes and 1 nay.
Mr. President, have the title read, please.
All right, Secretary, read the title.
Relating to the retirement systems of Alabama to amend Section 162526 and Section 3627.8.2 as amended by the Act 2023 and Act 2023-564 Code of Alabama 1975 to remove certain conditions under which an elected official who is retired from the teacher's retirement system and the employee's retirement system may serve for his or her full compensation in another elected public office without suspension of retirement benefits.
These bills received a second reading and be placed on the calendar for next legislative day. Secretary called next committee.
From the Committee on Education Policy, Senate Bill number 48 receives a favorable report by a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays. From the Committee on Education Policy, Senate Bill number 54 receives a favorable report by a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays. From the Committee on Education Policy, Senate Bill number 33 receives a favorable report by a vote of 7 ayes and 0 nays.
President.
Hold on one second. These bills received a second reading to be placed on the calendar for next legislative day. Secretary called next committee.
From the Committee on Local Legislation, Senate Bill number 28 receives a favorable report.
All right, this bill has received a second reading to be placed on the calendar for next legislative day. This concludes committee reports. All right. Senator Reed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we've already got down to business today with a lot of committee work, and I'm appreciative of the membership and all of their work during the day today. We're going to be at it again tomorrow, of course, here in the Alabama Senate, and I'm wanting to make a motion at this point, Mr. President, that we're going to stand adjourned until 9:30 a.m. Thursday, February the 8th.
Okay, you heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We stand adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. President.